Hey, what is up YouTube? It's Adam back here, and today I have the second episode of my making series, and today I'm going to be making Clone Commander Wolffe as seen in his Phase 2 armor. Now first I'd like to give a shout out to Christian Salgado, who suggested this figure and got the most likes in reply to the comment that I made about asking you guys to pick the next figure for the next episode. And that offer is still open for the third episode and basically for the rest of the series. Whoever gets the most likes in the replies to my comment will be the one that gets to choose the next figure. Just drop your suggestion, and if other people like it, they'll upvote it, and yeah. So without further ado, let's get into the base parts for this figure that I'm going to use and the decal that you see in the background. Alright, so here are the base parts for this figure. Starting off with the helmet, it is an AV Figures Bark Trooper helmet. This is a resin casted helmet, not ABS, so it's a little less shiny than the previous helmet I used on Hauser, but I think it still works. And yeah, it's just going to be blank, but I'm pretty much going to be doing what I did with Hauser. I'm going to be swiping the visor and the mouth off of this guy just to make Wolffe. Just so I don't have to paint those, because that can be very tedious. So yeah, other than that, the rest of it, all the sand blue or light gray or whatever gray you want to call it, will be painted along with pretty much any other details, including the yellow on the top. So yeah, underneath the helmets, we have the base clone head from the original Clone Wars sets, I guess you'd say. I'm just going to be painting the scar and the white eye on his right eye. So yeah, that was suggested as well in the comment that chose the thing for this week, the figure for this week, I should say. But other than that, we just have the Clone Wars torso, which again, I'm using the animated one just because I don't like the realistic one for making Clone Wars era figures, just because the midsection again is just a lot better for accuracy on the Clone Wars characters. So yeah, that's why I'm doing that. And then on the legs, you can see I have the carved out legs here. These were carved out using a Dremel, which you can get, carves out hips pretty well. And the figure's legs are going to be white, so just like Hauser. And yeah, that is the base parts. So yeah, let's get right into actually making this figure, starting off with the decals. Alright, so here is the helmet with its base decals on. Pretty much I didn't do the mouth decal, but I did every other one that I cut out. I just didn't do the mouth decal just because I figured it would actually be a little bit easier to probably paint it than trying to cut out that odd shape perfectly without getting it messed up on any side, like making it uneven. So it's a pretty hard shape to cut out, honestly. But yeah, I kind of wish I just had the Wolffe helmet decals, but you know, this is what makes it fun. You gotta find a way. So yeah, everything else is pretty much done. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. I'm gonna paint the little bottom piece right there in black, and then I can just basically be ready to paint it with the gray whenever I decide to mix that up, which will probably be after I do the outline for the figure itself. So yeah, I also got a couple things in the mail today, so just for those of you wondering, there are going to be more making figures soon. So anyway, I'm going to next do the carving of the armholes and then basically paint up the outline for this figure. So should be pretty fun. Alright, so after some very tedious painting, I painted most of the outline. I'm gonna just do the wraparound on the legs real quick, and then I am going to sand down the shoulder pads and paint them white. And then I will be ready to apply the final grayish color, I guess you want to call it. I don't know what, I'm gonna figure out the color when I get there. But yeah, so I'm going to get the gray ready, and then I'm going to paint the visor, and then I'm going to add the gray to the helmet. So yeah, that will be that. Alright, so I finished painting the helmet and, well, just the visor, I guess, right now. But, yeah, I think it looks okay. It's not perfect, as you can tell. It's a little lopsided, so I might touch that up. But other than that, I painted the shoulder pads after I sanded them down, which look pretty good as well. But I'm going to be using one of these once I rinse it out from previous use. I keep a couple colors in here, but I'm going to use one to make the gray color, which I have confirmed. It's still a little bit like a sand blue color, but it's a very dark sand blue color. So yeah, so these are good for just making a color and then being able to use it over and over again once you close it, just because it keeps the paint fresh. Because like this is Bo-Katan's color that I used for her a couple months ago, and you can see it still works. So it's pretty nice for that, not having to mix different, you know, like the same color every time. So yeah, but we are pretty much almost done. The shoulder pads is definitely going to be the most difficult part, probably even more difficult than painting the helmet, so we'll see how that goes. But other than that, I think the body is pretty simple, and yeah, pretty much everything except the shoulder pads. It's going to be easy. And then I'm also going to be using my own capes so that I've made in the past, and I'm going to probably color match it a little bit better. So yeah, still quite a bit to do. So let's start with actually finding the right gray. Okay, so pretty much the only things left are I have to paint the Wolfpack symbol. I already tried once, but I'm redoing it just because I didn't like the size that it came out to. So I gotta do that for this shoulder pad, and then I think since I painted the head with the scar already and the white eye, the only other things left are just to touch up the legs to make sure the paint is even. And then I'm actually going to seal this figure just because this gray really does not like to cooperate. So once I get all of the lighter spots that I missed painted over again I'm going to seal it again so it doesn't come off, because gray really likes to come off. But I think it looks pretty good. I added the white. You can just barely tell the difference between the white paint and the actual black visor, so he has his accurate visor. And then for the yellow, it wasn't a normal yellow that I used. I'm not sure how well the time-lapse, if you could have seen this at all. It was a Citadel paint that I really like using just for that, just for the couple times I've made Wolffe in the past. But yeah, the other thing I'm going to do is add some weathering, just mainly to cover up stuff like this. The ABS helmets are good in most aspects for accuracy, but if you make any sort of mistake, it really likes to you know, not come off. So I'm going to try and add some weathering to hide some of, well, mainly just that, I guess. But yeah, and then the antenna is going to go on the back of this Procreate piece, and once I paint it up in the gray color. So yeah, I'm going to sand it down a little bit first, but then once I add the antenna, that should be good. And you can see my desk is devolving into a bigger mess, but we're getting there. The only things left, pretty much just to go over it again: Wolfpack symbol on the shoulder pad, painting and adding the antenna on that shoulder pad, adding the antenna for the helmet, weathering, and then the cape, which is probably the easiest part since I already have that made. So yeah, other than that, I think I'm pretty much ready to wrap this figure up with the next couple sessions of painting, so it should be fun. Alright, so here he is. I just sealed him, so the paint should not rub off. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with him. There are a couple things that I would change. I mean, mainly just I'd spent so many times trying to paint the Wolfpack symbol. I think I did 4 or 5 just, you know, scrapping it and then repainting it. So I tried my best. I'm not sure exactly how much more I could have done, but yeah. Anyways, the rest of the figure I think came out pretty well. I painted the comma instead of trying to color match it, because the printer, when you're trying to print capes, it's a little bit difficult to color match with exact colors. So I just found one where I had a white outline on it, and then I painted that. And I also painted the hand armor on, just to add a little extra detail. And this one has the antenna, and that is it's called Citadel Lead Belcher, I think is what it's called. It's a really nice silver for antennas and stuff. But yeah, so I added his little antenna on the side. It does not hit the helmet when you spin it, so that's nice. And yeah, the sealant is working pretty well. I also sealed Captain Hauser while I was out there spraying it, because I was spraying it outside. But yeah, so anyways, the head, as you can see, does not scrape with the helmet, because which is pretty nice. And so I painted the scar on there, and yeah, it was just a red paint with a dark red outline, or the dark red in the middle of it, just to give it that, like, you know, more detailed look. And yeah, the arms are still movable, and everything is pretty good about this figure. The antenna is a CAC one. I don't think I actually recorded the part where I painted the antenna on accident. My camera was not recording for some reason. I think I was out of space, so that sucks. But yeah, I basically, it was just a CAC antenna, and I just literally just painted it with the same gray, so not really too much to miss there. But yeah, other than that, I think that is it. You can still see some of the decals that I painted around, which I think blend in really nicely. And yeah, you guys can let me know how you think it turned out in the comments below. I definitely think I could improve on this guy for sure, if I, you know, had just gone and tried to paint the Wolfpack symbol for 1,000 more times, for example. But I really didn't feel like painting it again, so I'm pretty happy with the overall shape. The shape is there, so yeah. But overall, pretty happy with it. You guys can let me know what you think of it down below, and make sure to drop a suggestion in the comments for the next episode. And remember, the one with the most likes gets to pick the figure for the next episode. So yeah, that is making episode 2, and I think that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. And this is goodbye, and have a nice day.